The biggest mystery in Kenya has been happening for the past 2 decades, and no one has been paying attention. More than 100 children have died in the past 2 decades from fire-related incidents in Kenya, and this is the highest number so far in Africa. What is really happening in Kenya? What could be causing all this? I did some investigation only to find out that this has been happening for years and no one has been paying attention until now. In September 2024, at least 21 children died from a fire incident, and some of the students were banned beyond recognition, with one of the journalists present having the audacity to say a DNA test is required to find who is who. In 2020, 14 students died in a stampede at Kakamega Primary School in Western Kenya. The incident happened during the time when the students were leaving for home. In 2017, a fire broke out in a dormitory at Moi Girls High in Kenya, and the fire killed 10 students. The terrible part about this whole situation is that the fire was caused by a 14-year-old girl called Nana. And the reason why she caused all this fire, all this trouble, is because she hated the school. 10 students lost their lives. In 2001, two 16-year-old students deliberately set ablaze a dormitory at Kiaguli Secondary School, and 67 people lost their lives. In 1991, St. Kizito was forced to close down in following a horrific incident on July 13 when 71 girls were brutally raped and 19 were killed after refusing to participate in a strike. No amount of counseling can bring peace to those who lost their children in these incidents. With the incident that recently happened in September 2024, this incident led a lot of people to start asking questions. They started being suspicious, only to realize that such incidents has been happening for years. And this led Education Cabinet Secretary Julius Ogamba to say, perhaps as a country, it has reached that time when we need to relook at those rules and regulations, which are policies, and find out whether it is time for us to move them a step further and make them laws so that there are penalties that will attach to any person who violates them. Are these incidents a coincidence or something is behind it? For years, such incidents, most of them are happening in boarding schools, where people not recognizing these incidents could probably be caused by the negligence by the staff in these schools. We are talking about such incidents happening to children below the age of 15. 15 years and below. It's a must that during the night, the staff that take care of the kids should be paying attention. But that's not the case. For the past 2 decades, parents send their children to boarding schools knowing they will be in safe hands. But probably that's not the case. Children are not safe. One of the cases that we can really pinpoint there was negligence by the staff is the case that recently happened in September this year, 2024, where 21 students lost their lives. Another case that we can really pinpoint and say this was caused by negligence of school staff is the case that happened in 2020, where 14 students died in a stampede. How best can we avoid such incidents? Looking at the spirituality of these cases, it's a must since we are Africans. If I'm to take a guess, after I mentioned all these incidents happening in that manner, most of you concluded this must be spiritual, especially such happening to children. Let me remind you, Satanism is real in Africa. When we were growing up, every new term in January, we were encouraged by our parents not to eat other students' lunchbox because it was a popular way of being initiated to Satanism. January was always a year where Satanism was at its peak, and parents did really pay attention and urged their kids to be very careful. However, these days, it seems every month is a month to be afraid, as even teachers have ways to initiate students to Satanism. We now live in a world where parents have to be really careful where they send their kids to school. Would I be wrong if I associate spirituality to this case that happened in 2001, where two 16-year-olds deliberately set ablaze a dormitory where 67 students lost their lives? Another case is that of a 14-year-old girl called Nana, who caused a fire in 2017 that led to a tragic outcome where 10 students lost their lives. Nana caused this fire because she hated the school. Doing your own analysis, is this normal or something is behind it? something spiritual. The world is changing. Such cases are no longer considered spiritual. Flipping the coin, and you realize that Nana could have been bullied at the school by other students, and the staff at school were not really paying attention. Or Nana was a spoiled child at home, and once she was disciplined at school by the staff, she saw it as abuse. So many angles to look at. What do you think? It's no denial fact that leadership sometimes do let its people down. When the same incident that has been happening repeating itself for the past 2 decades, it was this year 2024 that leadership started to take action. If it's your first time being here on this YouTube channel, make sure to subscribe and like this video. It really helps this channel a lot.